French Montana has always embraced the limelight, whether it's through his music, parties, or red carpet events. The Moroccan-American rapper knows how to keep his name in the conversation. However, this time, it wasn't a new hit or a glamorous moment that caught everyone's attention. It was the sound of a door shutting. During an interview on The Cited Show, hosted by Ra Ali, French Montana unexpectedly walked out. He didn't storm off or throw a tantrum. He simply stood up, offered a vague excuse about having double-parked his car, and left without returning. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. The situation took a turn when Ra Ali, known for her straightforward approach, brought up the contentious topic of the ongoing feud between Drake and Rick Ross. While this question might not seem overly provocative at first, given that French has collaborated with both artists, it clearly struck a nerve. His immediate and memorable response was, "I'll be right back." I double-parked my car, and he exited the scene. There was no explanation, no conclusion to the interview, and no handshake as he departed. As the cameras continued to roll, the hosts appeared shocked, and within hours, the clip went viral, sparking a flurry of commentary, speculation, and typical hip-hop debate online. Let's analyze this incident. Was French Montana being overly sensitive? Was it a move driven by ego to avoid being caught in a high-profile rap dispute? Or was it a deliberate choice, perhaps even a protest, against being drawn into a controversial topic? The interpretations vary depending on who you ask. Some fans labeled his actions as immature, with one user on X, formerly Twitter, stating, "He's being dramatic. He knows there's nothing else to discuss." Another user harshly compared him to an old character from Bob's Burgers, saying, "What else is there to say?" Ouch. On the other hand, some defended French. One commenter noted, "It's a bit childish, but I understand, especially if he had set boundaries on topics he didn't want to discuss before the interview." This raises a significant point. In today's media environment, interviews often serve as part of a strategic PR effort rather than just journalism. If an artist has specified certain topics as off-limits, is it disrespectful for the interviewer to bring them up anyway? This situation exists in a gray area. It wasn't solely the question about Drake and Rick Ross that bothered Montana. Earlier in the interview, Ra Ali had inquired about his romantic life, to which Montana responded with noticeable tension, "I'll skip that. I just want to keep my private life private." While that's a reasonable response, it also suggested he was becoming increasingly uncomfortable. By the time the discussion turned to the feud between Drake and Rick Ross, Montana may have already decided he was finished with the interview. Perhaps the mention of the car line was just a more graceful exit than direct confrontation, or maybe it was his subtle way of signaling he was done. However, the aftermath reveals more than just that moment. It's well known that Drake and Rick Ross have been at odds lately. What began as subtle hints escalated into direct insults, diss tracks, and social media exchanges. Drake, often seen as the most powerful figure in the genre, has faced criticism on various fronts, lyrically, personally, and commercially. Meanwhile, Rick Ross, a seasoned artist, has been equally outspoken. Their ongoing rivalry has sparked reactions throughout the hip-hop community, with some artists taking sides and others avoiding the topic altogether. Then there's French. French Montana has always navigated a middle ground. He collaborates with a wide range of artists, maintains connections across different groups, and generally stays out of conflicts. His brand is built on good vibes, hard work, and reliability, which complicates his reaction. What if French's departure wasn't just about the question, but rather about the trap he sensed being set? Imagine being in a studio with cameras rolling and lights blazing, knowing that anything you say about Drake or Rick Ross will make headlines by morning. French takes a side. French throws shade. French pulled into the beef. Regardless of your words, the narrative will be shaped one way or another. So perhaps he opted for the only choice that kept him out of the fray, to leave. This isn't a new occurrence. Artists have been walking out of interviews for years, usually for one of two reasons. They're caught off guard or they dislike the direction of the conversation. Some exit in anger, others with sarcasm. French, however, did so with a calm detachment, which adds an intriguing layer to this moment. There were no shouting matches or insults. Just a casual exit that turned into a complete disappearance. But it gets even more complex. French Montana isn't merely dodging a headline. He might also be avoiding taking sides in a feud that could impact his business. It's important to remember that the music industry thrives on relationships. Being perceived as favoring one artist over another can either close doors or open new ones. For French, who continues to work on various projects, business ventures, and collaborations behind the scenes, maintaining neutrality may not be a sign of weakness. It could be a strategic move. It's important to recognize that French Montana's connections with both artists are complex. He has toured with Drake, collaborated on club hits, and shares a long-standing friendship with him. His relationship with Rick Ross is even more intricate, given their history on tracks like Stay Schemin', Nobody, and numerous collaborations under Maybach Music and Bad Boy Records, making it difficult to choose sides. French isn't just an observer. He is part of the history that intensifies this ongoing feud. So, what if French Montana had commented on the conflict? In the best-case scenario, his remarks would be respectful and diplomatic, quickly fading from attention. In the worst-case scenario, they could be analyzed, taken out of context, and used against him in a dispute he never intended to join. Considering these possibilities, his decision to walk out doesn't seem overly dramatic. However, the tension lingered in the room even after his departure. Ra Ali, known for her bold interviews and confrontational style, appeared more shocked than angry. Her response was measured, as if she anticipated some pushback, but not a complete walkout. She hasn't elaborated on the incident yet, but it's clear that the clip achieved its purpose of generating buzz. In the larger context, French Montana leaving an interview might not seem significant. Yet, in the realm of hip-hop media, where narratives hold value and silence can be more impactful than lyrics, it takes on a different meaning. It sends a message. A message that not every rapper is willing to be a pawn in the media frenzy. That not every artist feels compelled to comment on every controversy. Sometimes, the most powerful response is to say nothing at all. French Montana didn't mention Drake or Rick Ross. But by vacating that seat, he may have conveyed more than any interview could. The question now is, will he eventually speak out? Will he address the situation in a tweet, a song, or a follow-up interview? Or will this simply become another strange footnote in the saga of rap feuds? One thing is certain, French Montana has reminded everyone that in a world fixated on hot takes and headlines, sometimes the most impactful action is to simply stand up and walk away. No conflict. No escalation. Just setting boundaries. And in today's chaotic culture, that might be the most authentic move of all. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.